Summoner enemies. Love them or hate them, you must admit they bring something to the table. In light of my game's shortage of these enemies, I decided to add them in due to their impact on gameplay. I chose to make only 2 of them as I have no player feedback. The one is a weird failed experiment looking one, and the other a robot one. The failed experiment summoner has a melee staff attack, which has some heavy knockback, and a summon cast. During this cast, the enemy begins summoning allies until either the cast has been ended or the cast has been disrupted. To make the robot one a bit more unique, instead of having just these 2 behaviors, a melee attack and a summon, it was given another cast ability. During this cast, it spawns homing projectiles until either the cast finishes or the cast gets disrupted. Moreover, it has much more HP than the failed experiment counterpart, hence it feels more like a fake mini-boss. To control what both of them summon, a little spawn entity behavior was added with weights for each type of entity to have more fine-tuned control. The weights are added cumulatively and then an entity is randomly chosen. Here, a little quirk has been employed of being able to summon a summoner, but the weight of that is very low, so the chances of it happening are small. Moreover, both of them share the same movement type. If they're too far away, they will walk towards the target. And then, within a certain range, they'll either orbit around the target or walk away from it. This makes them a bit harder to deal with, since they are not really melee fighters. If they would just run straight at the target, it would remove from their uniqueness, as there are already many melee enemies which run at the target. Additionally, they hold a little staff with a glow spot to make them stand out from the other enemies. The glow spot makes them easier to notice. Having summarized their behaviors up, an interesting point can be made about how they force the player to rethink his strategy. The more this enemy stays alive, the harder it gets as it keeps spawning enemies. Hence, after the player thinks about it, he realizes that this type of enemy is of higher priority than enemies which don't spawn enemies. Therefore, he has to begin targeting them. This action then, with the player having to change his behavior, makes the game less stale, as he has to think, sometimes, about how to play the game rather than mindlessly hacking away. I go partly over this in my video on enemy design. After adding these summoner enemies, I also chose to add a new item type to the game. Items whose quirk is that they trigger only after the holder stands still. To set this up, first I had to make a script on the holder which detects when it's standing still or moving. The script is rather simple. It's a position check every X interval which changes a public bool and also fires off an event so that other scripts can either listen on the events or read the bool. The script is in the description. Then, with some extra clicks, I got one item to work. It's ripped straight off Risk of Rain 2. Bustling Fungus. I chose to name mine as Dormant Fungus. Basically, after standing still for 1 second, the item begins releasing an AoE heal every 1 second. Furthermore, I made 3 additional ones, one which spawns an ally when standing still, average in my opinion, one which spawns a projectile after standing still. This can turn into a minigun if you stack it. The last item releases an AoE wave which damages others when standing still. It's also kinda average. If you have any ideas, please fire them off in the comments or in the Discord or in the Steam discussion. It does not take long to add an item. All that needs to be done is the name to be chosen, a description, get an icon of gameicon.net, and quickly throw in the behaviors as scriptable objects, and boom, the item is ready. Now, by the time you are watching this, the game is probably not in early access anymore, but that's not a problem. I'm still planning to keep working on it and adding content, but I feel that the early access tag might be averting some potential buyers, even though the game itself is ready from a solo dev standpoint. Thanks for watching this short devlog. If you spot any mistakes, please mention them in the comments. Also, if you have any item idea or enemy type idea that you want to share, please mention it in the comments and maybe you will see it in the game. If you've liked or enjoyed the video, please consider either wishlisting or following or buying my game Code Blue on Steam, link in the description. Have a good day.